I love original characters, you love original characters, so why don't we make some new ones today? I want to specifically make new D&D characters. I've been playing D&D for a long time now, and I've seen a lot of people explore solo D&D campaigns, and it looked like fun, so I thought I would try that out. So, come with me as I take some forgotten and lost character ideas that I've had stored away for a very long time and turn them into actual characters. First off, this was the first character that I drew in this series. For this character, I was thinking of making him a werecat, kind of like a werewolf, but he's a leopard. This was also my first time trying to draw a furry head, or an anthropomorphic head, or body parts, and I really struggled with it. As you can see in this speed paint, I really had a hard time trying to make that leopard head. But I go in and actually find a reference that helps me a lot with designing how it's gonna look, and I fix it up, make it all nice and pretty, and I'm very happy with how his leopard form turned out. As you can see, I wanted to add some like leopard motifs of having stripes and spots on him in his human form as well, but I did not like that idea because I thought there was too much going on his face. So I made the leopard motif a bit smaller on his face and gave him a different kind of design for the spots. It took so many tries to get this leopard body to actually look correct in my mind, because I had this clear vision if I want him to have like brooding shoulders, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it took a while. Let's start with who this character is, because I totally forgot to do that. This is Deacon. He is a barbarian. He's short, he's 5'3". He's not very happy about it because he gets picked on. He's a loudmouth and brutish and stubborn. I mean, can you not tell by the way he looks? I mean, he's gonna be a fun character. But he's also a big softie. He's great with kids. He grew up as an orphan in a major city within the campaign and has been helping the kids around him grow up in a better area and stuff. And through that, he became a street fighter and would never back down from a fight because he wanted to show people that even kids who come from a lower background can be strong too. So he does that. One night, a wealthy collector of magical items hires him to retrieve a stolen artifact, and the collector offered to give him a lot of money. So Deacon decided to do that with the intentions of giving most of the money to the other kids who are living on the street. He ends up getting caught in the act by a mysterious figure in the dark, shrouded by darkness, and was cursed to be transformed into a werecat. Wow, he turns into a big leopard boy. He's so silly. He's so cute. His transformation is mostly controlled by his emotions, even though he's a very loud and brutish and stubborn guy. Those emotions are what really makes him transform, and it's uncontrollable sometimes, but he is trying to learn how to control it and stuff. He later on, as he grows up, he learns about a academy in a town nearby the big city that deals with magic studies and curses, so he decides to go there to see if they can find a way to break his curse. For Deacon's hair, I thought it would be fun if I took another character's hair style that I've had for a while and slap it onto him. Just copy and paste it onto him. Because I thought it would fit his leopard motif way better. And just having a color palette of mainly blues, browns, and greens, with his leopard form being kind of bluish whitish, but his outfits kind of contrasting it and being browns. I thought that was a fun color palette for him, and his silly hair. I think he's great. I think he's silly. And here is the final product. Yay! I'm so happy with how well this character sheet turned out and how his leopard form turned out. I'm very, very happy with myself for actually being able to make that happen. So on to the next character. Now, this character, she wasn't as hard as the last character in this series, but she was the second character that I designed. Her name is Ellsworth, not Elizabeth, Ellsworth. She is a preacher's daughter who is a cleric. And as you can see in this little sketch area, she's a harpy. I know, what a weird concept. Well, just hang on. Let me walk you through this. Ellsworth grew up in a struggling church that was ran by her parents. She had a beautiful singing voice, so she was a part of the church's choir. And every time she would sing, more people would be drawn into the church. And then later, her parents became power hungry and made her sing even more, not knowing that this is actually a harpy's ability called luring song. I thought this would be a really fun concept of having someone slowly turn into a harpy. So that's what she does. She slowly turns into a harpy. Every time she sings, she gets new feathers and more feathers on her body. As you can see in this sketch, she only has the top half of her body with feathers, and her wings aren't fully grown to size, but she still has some ways to go. I was planning on doing the actual bird legs, of having the big fluffy legs that curve inwards to be these clawed feet. But then I decided to scrap that idea because that was a little bit hard for me, and it's just gonna be covered in her big skirt either way. But I decided to give her a few layers. Her skirt is connected to her dress. She has a cloak on, as well as some other fabric pieces just to tie in the design a bit. I have also never really drawn curly hair before, or I've never really drawn curly hair before in a character, so I decided to learn how to do that and have her hair be curly, and I think it turned out really cute for her whole design. I gave her little bandana because she has really thick hair and it helps like push her hair back, which I also thought was really cute. Now, I already went over a little bit of her backstory, but there's quite a bit more. After singing in the choir for a while, she would get progressively sick and would start to cough up feathers, and no one knew why that was happening. But she would hide this fact from her parents, and her parents later found out about it and deemed her as a demon child unloved by the gods, which really just destroyed her, because like this life was all she knew. And so they kind of just locked her away because they thought she was an abomination. And while she was locked away, the church started losing members, and it just became a whole mess, and the parents weren't happy, and Ellsworth wasn't happy to be there. It was a wreck. As you can see in this line art, one of her wings is tied back by fabric. And I thought that was a really interesting idea of how she would be able to hide the fact that she's turning into a harpy. Later on in her story, there was a professor from a magic academy. Haha, see where it's getting connected? That heard about the potential of a harpy living in this small town, and he wanted to go check it out. So he found the church. There was barely anyone in there. And convinced Elsbeth's parents that he was a doctor, and had a sneaking suspicion that their daughter was actually the harpy in question. So they allowed the doctor to examine her, found out that she was in fact the harpy, and decided to want to give her a good life. So he took her away from her family, basically freeing her from that circumstance, and brought her to the magic academy that he works at, and taught her all about healing magic and being a cleric. So now her goal is to try and heal herself as well as break this harpy's curse. For her color palette, I really wanted to kind of do a contrasting color palette from Deacon of his brown and green, so I wanted to make her more blue and red. I really enjoy this color palette a lot. I think all the colors in this work really well together, and I think she turned out super cute. As you can see, there is a medallion at the top left next to the little chibi. That is the medallion of her god. Wow! A clerical item. Oh my god, no wonder she's a cleric. And here we go. Here is the final reference sheet for Elsbeth. I really love how she turned out. I love how her hair looks. and how her outfit looks. I think it is so adorable and so cute. She's just a little cutie patootie. I love her. Our final character is Maverick. He is actually a character that I've had for a very long time. He was supposed to be used in a different D&D campaign, but that campaign didn't really take off. So I decided to redesign him and give him a new look and touch up his story a bit. He's a wizard. I know, more magic. He's fun. But his curse is a monster tattoo, which is fun. I struggled a lot with Maverick's redesign because I was just having an off day when it came to drawing his anatomy. But I figured it out. I think it looks good. I think it looks correct. I don't know. He's just a like lengthy guy. He's just a little skinny lengthy boy. He's just my little darling, you know? I've had a backstory for Maverick for a very long time, but he used to be a monk, but then I decided to change his class to be a wizard to fit more with the barbarian and the cleric characters. A little bit of Maverick's backstory. When he was 16, a cult called the Children of the Mother's Monsters invaded his village, taking women and children and making them disappear. And the cult sought out to create a being called the Son of the Whispering Beast by fusing children with monsters that they summoned from the goddess Enchanta. After watching numerous failed attempts, it was his turn, and he was a success. The cult succeeded in creating the Son of the Whispering Beasts, and they deemed him the first son of Enchanta. The cult binded 65 beasts into his body that took form as living tattoos that freely roam his body and talk to him. So these monsters started to drive him crazy. And his brother, Tendrick, was trying to kind of help him and calm him down and all that kind of stuff. And finally, a day arrived where they could escape, but Tendrick got caught during the escape, and Maverick just kept going. He fled to a wizard tower where he spent years learning magic and spells to control the beasts that are marked on him. And the wizards were like, hey, I know we promised to release all the monsters, but we're actually gonna seal them on your body. And he's like, well, that's not what we agreed to. So in this speed paint right now, I gotta say, drawing all of those monsters that cover his body were so hard. I had so many references up for all of these monsters, and it was just on such a small scale that I started just scribbling and gave up a little bit on drawing the complete monsters, but I think it looks good at the end. After leaving the wizard tower, Maverick heard about a school that deals with magic and curses. So he decides to go there and start researching more about this goddess that the cult follows and all that kind of stuff to try and get rid of these monsters that were placed onto him. Now, for Maverick's color palette, I wanted to go for more kind of beige colors with some dark bluish purples, just to kind of combine all the other colors that the other two characters have. Just make it look good, you know. I thought this color palette would be really nice. And I stand corrected. And I stand corrected. Coloring in all of the monsters took so long. Oh my god, it took so long. But I did it. I managed to finish it. Even though it looks like big blobs, trust me, it's monsters. Trust me. Take my word for it. In Maverick's original design, he has markings along his face. I decided to scrap that idea because I thought that would be a little too much, so I'd put the markings on his neck instead of his face. Because it made a bit more sense. And there we go, the final redesign and the rebirth of Maverick. And here is the chibis. And that is the 3 characters that I will be using in my solo D&D campaign. Wow! Thank you guys so much for watching. I really had fun making this video, and this was my first time making a video like this, and I had so much fun. And if you enjoyed that art content and want to see more, maybe you should subscribe or whatever, or maybe even like and comment. Yeah, okay, goodbye!